Joining us now to give us her perspective on these disparities is Senator Rosemary Moodie, chair of the African Canadian Senators Group and co-chair of the Parliamentary Black Caucus. Ma'am, welcome to Forum Daily.
Hello, and thank you very much for having me, Nima.
Thanks for joining us, ma'am. Now, looking at this research, it indicates that people of color in North America are more likely to be infected by COVID-19 because they're more exposed and less protected, and at the same time, more likely to die from COVID because of poor living conditions and poor food options. So how can we as a society tackle all of this?
So you're right. It's a really important question that you're raising here, and an issue. We know that many of the communities that you describe are those essential workers. They're the frontline workers. They're the grocery store workers, the service industry, the maintenance service industry. And so these folks are out there and they have to be out there because they need the money, they need the work. And so they are in precarious jobs and sometimes paid less, and their lifestyles force them to have to turn up to work. Some of the interventions and the policy interventions that have happened recently will, I think, play an important part in helping solve the problem. One of them is paid sick leave, which I think is going to allow, if we can expand beyond the federal service, which the recent legislation restricted it to, it will help if it can spread at the provincial level and more broadly. I think also another big issue that we need to pay attention to is good housing, because right now crowded conditions are one of the biggest issues for families that are really unable to isolate as they possibly could, separate themselves off if one member of the family is ill. And so people are finding themselves often part of an outbreak in a home or in communities spreading really quite unrestricted. I think too that we need to look at more robust income support. If we can look at raising the minimum wage, making sure that the tax structure is more progressive and assists low-income Canadians. Those are the sorts of things, a living wage, are things that are important considerations for us moving forward. We need to be thinking about these things. And post-COVID, we really need to focus on our communities around education, encouraging them to take the vaccine, because frankly, there continues to be a large number of myths and misinformation that's circulating amongst our communities, and really standing as barriers for people getting immunized against COVID. So these are some of the important things. When I visited Taibu Community Health Center, there's some fantastic work being done by members of our community. I saw firsthand the incredible work that they were doing to increase vaccination rates in their community. We need more of that.
It's good that progress was made, ma'am. Now, just a minute left here. So let's end with what would you want this year to mean in terms of equality for all Black Canadians for the 2022 year?
What I'd like to see for Black people in Canada today is that we address the systemic disparities and the biases that affect and limit their ability to progress economically and to progress from a position of political power decision making. It is my hope that we will shift our political culture towards a consideration of Black Canadians as we move forward, and that we're able to see a more diverse society that works hard in an ongoing and quite deliberate way to ensure that there's diversity and inclusion in all aspects of our lives.